On this episode of Star Trek Universe, we're getting Tears of the Prophets in exchange for Tears of the Podcast hosts. We're talking Starfleet Academy 105, series Acclimation Mill, right after these words from our mystery wormhole aliens.
Welcome to Star Trek Universe podcast. You can listen in on two lifelong friends sit and chat about Star Trek like they always do. My name's Matthew Carroll.
I'm David C. Robertson.
How you doing, Dave?
I'm all right, man. It's been an emotional several hours. Almost 12 hours for me, because I woke up at 3:30 this morning, and my wife was still awake, and I walked out and I said, Sisko?
Yeah, gotta watch this episode. We knew it was gonna be the Sisko episode. We've been waiting on it, even since before the show started. I am in a weird place. I don't even know how much I'll have to say, because I'm like emotionally vulnerable right now. I cried so much during this episode. I've just finished. I just finished the episode and came to join you to podcast. I've had a busy morning. Finally had a chance to sit and watch it, and it tore me up. Just I don't know why, and I don't even know if this may not have been a surprise. You know me, I don't follow stuff as closely. Didn't know Jake was going to be there.
I did not. No.
And Jake, oh man, the appearance of Jake just completely destroyed me, and I don't even know why.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk about it right now, and I don't even know why. It's just, that's such a core part of the character, and then like the mystery of the wormhole aliens, you know, and where he is, and when he's coming back, if he's ever coming back, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. That is ostensibly the mystery S.A.M is seeking, but she finds the truth of Sisko the man, and that is so powerful. And Jake was always this vehicle for that through the entire show, because he was the commander of Starfleet, and he was the emissary of the prophets. But the third role was always the father, you know, and eventually the husband. And like that, focusing on that for this episode was so beautiful. And hearing Jake talk about that just like tore me up. I don't know. I'm sitting here crying on the show. I don't know if I've ever cried on this show. I cry on a lot of shows.
Yeah, you do.
But I feel like Star Trek, we tend to analyze more, but this one just hit me hard in the feels. And it was all the Jake stuff. And at the end, the Dak stuff got me too.
Oh, yeah. That was a really cool reveal that I did not see coming.
Totally didn't see coming, and I want to argue with it, because I feel like there's in the past it was said that there's somewhat of a limit on the number of Trill rejoinings they can do. Like the Dax was already a pretty advanced in age Trill, but I don't fucking care. It's such a fun reveal.
It's almost also like, you know, it's a sci-fi show, so. You know, fans do love to get like really up their own ass about like, oh, they said that there's only so much, and we don't even know that, but like, I'm sure someone out there is saying it. But at the same time, it's like medical advancements, you know. All right, so they found a pill that would, or something that would make
exactly. You can headcanon it. You can headcanon it to hell and back. Yeah. And it's that whole thing of like, if you do it right, we just don't fucking care. It was really well done. Golly, I'm crying. They made me see the Dax in her in the way she was being a mentor to S.A.M before they did the reveal. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as they did the reveal, I was like, oh, of course. I've been feeling the Dax this whole episode, you know, and they just did such a good job. And like, all those little quibbles you could have about the Star Trek canon, that when you're in to a show, you are willing to forgive and headcanon, and then once you're out of the show, you start picking apart. I'm just so in, and this episode had me so in. I don't care about all that. It's just I'm totally in, and I love that reveal. I loved all the Jake stuff. It was a great episode, just a really, really great episode. And I don't think I've cried in a Star Trek episode like this, maybe ever. Like, this one got me hard.
Yeah. I agree. I really loved it. I was very impressed. And I guess they didn't do it well enough. But I thought the whole time, I'm like, I love how they're taking great care to never actually really say whether he came back or not.
Right. They didn't answer that question. I thought they might. I thought maybe, you know, the orb goes dark when she's talking to it. which I thought was weird that the orb was in the New Orleans museum instead of like on Bajor. But I guess he's the emissary of the prophets. I guess maybe he got to keep that one or something. And maybe it went down through his family. I don't know.
I wondered if it was just a holographic representation at the beginning, from. Because it was a holographic representation of something that was in New Orleans, and I'm wondering if that wasn't just like a dead shell that they holographically simulated it.
Yeah. It could be. It could be. It's just they said this is the orb. This is an orb. It had these like like actual artifacts of his life, and that was one of them. And it said this is an orb of the prophets, and it's like, oh wow, they got that to Earth. But then when you start talking to it, it went dark, and I thought maybe at some point in the episode we would actually get a connection made, and you kind of do. Like, okay, it's really freaking beautiful because the whole point of the episode, not the whole point. There's a lot of points, but like one of the big points is kind of the question of DS9, which is religion real or not, and trying to compose myself enough to talk about it. But the fact that they made the book her orb, like she tries to connect to Sisko through this orb, this thing that the Bajorans imbue all of this this weight on, this spirituality onto, and then she finds this book. Anslim, I think. Anslim. She finds this book and gets a chance to look at it, and it is for her this religious artifact that she's been looking for to try to discover who he is, because she wants to know the man. She wants to be an emissary, but she wants to hold on to herself. And so this book is everything to her. And that is just so freaking beautiful. And the fact that when she opens it, the swirling texts come out and she starts to talk to Jake, that is sort of representational of like, maybe that's what all the Bajorans are doing when they have these moments with the prophets. Maybe sometimes when we imbue religious experience, we have these religious experiences and they are just of our own minds, or is it an actual connection to the prophets? Who freaking knows? And that's the beauty of DS9. And it's the beauty of this episode. Golly, I love it.
And there's some really nice, I feel like, implications of the reader's relationship to the author. Like you're tapping in. You know what I mean? Like as you're reading what they wrote, you're like sort of having a conversation with the author.
Yes, exactly.
I think a lot about that crap. So I really liked it. And apparently a lot of people didn't get that wasn't real. That was just like an imagination situation.
Well, I think that you're right. That's how I interpret it. But I think there is a interpretation of that, and they even talk about it. She's like, so if I close this book, are you going to disappear? And he says, oh, I thought you were controlling this whole thing. Yeah. And like, she thinks it's real in this way. And he is telling her, I thought it was you. I thought this was all in you all the time, Dorothy. And like, there's no, it's not revealed, and that's the same thing that we've known about DS9. Of course, the wormhole aliens end up being real, but they're not exactly gods. But is there a difference? And is there a difference when it's that way? When they're temporal, out of time aliens, is there any difference between them and gods? And that's it's just so freaking well done. I love this episode so much. The more I'm talking about it, the more I love it.
Did you notice Sisko's face in the clouds?
You just sent me the picture. I see it.
I did.
I looked for it. I thought for sure, like they were lingering on that shot so long. Yeah. I was like, there's got to be an Easter egg for Sisko here. But
it's just off enough. It's just off enough that they didn't have to pay Avery Brooks likeness rights.
Is that what that is? Like they said in this episode. Oh, that's really funny. They said in this episode that the Bajorans won't even use his likeness anymore, and that's really funny. Yeah. I can't believe they don't have likeness rights for Sisko as just part of the contract he signed 40 years ago, or whatever it was, 30 years ago.
Maybe, but you know what? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm just cynical.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you may be right, and it's very funny if that's the case, because they did go to great pains to have these images of him in this storybook, and his face is never in it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I wrote down a ton of notes and did like a ton of research for this episode.
Yeah, you said you rewatched and did your deep dive. I'd love to hear everything, but like before we do that, what's your top line, like emotional experience? What's your thoughts about the episode in general?
Well, I loved most of it. Like, I feel like the quote unquote adults had kind of a short shrift this episode.
Sure.
And rightly so, for fuck's sake. Like,
yeah. I when they did show the adults, I was like, what are you doing? This is the first episode where I was like, what are you doing? Why are you showing the adults? Like, who cares about this party?
I had fun with the party. I had fun with the Doctor speaking through his little megaphone and
100%.
Reno and all of that. And I think it was important to get us to the next episode with them to like start seeing, the olive branch between Starfleet and the War College.
Yeah.
Other than that, other than just watching, getting a little further in the plot for them, I didn't feel like there was like a whole lot of connection there, and I didn't need that to be there. Like, I just enjoyed what it was and what it needed to be for the next however many episodes.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Like, I'm not saying it was bad. I just, for like every other episode, I feel like they've been my favorite part of the episode, and this episode, and I guess just because it's about Sisko, and I was wanting to get back to Sam's story and like wanting to find more about Sisko, Sisko, which she calls him multiple times.
I know,
I loved it so much.
So, yeah, man, I don't know. So much of this is wrapped up in what all the stuff I wrote down and stuff. But,
well, feel free to share it. I just didn't want to like get too buried in like, I am having such a transcendent experience with this episode.
Yeah.
And I feel like it had to be similar for you, given what it is. And I just curious how you felt, like what sure that was.
I've made no bones about it. DS9 is my favorite of the series. I still have my old AOL email. I am the Sisko. Like, that was just like my shit growing up, and I think about it all the time. I love it. But there was a couple little things that, like, it's not that I need it, but there's like there were a couple of things in here that make sense on some level, but also like I feel like I'm gonna have to defend it. And I'm just too tired to do that, so I'll say it on this show and not give a fuck after. But, so anyway, I love that, like, they pointed out, like, the myth is that he was never seen again. Because she's, like, reading this book. And by the way, I love how it ties in with her story. I love how the makers keep yanking her away in the middle of conversations, just like the prophets did to Sisko.
100%.
Like, tying her deeper in with, like, the emissary, even beyond what she knows. So she's got this book. He was never seen again, but we know that he was seen by Cassidy, at least. And I'm sure
How do we know that?
Well, because... What he
like he appeared to her. Yeah, no, I thought you meant after that. Which I know there are books. Aren't there books where he's back?
Oh, we're about to get into this.
Which this retcon's correct?
Well, somewhat.
Okay, well, we'll get into it.
But yeah, so we know Cassidy saw Ben at the end of DS9. I'm sure she told Jake and Ezri and all the others who were really close to Sisko, like, hey, this motherfucker's still talking to me, so he ain't dead. So, like, we have Raimi who says, this way he's Schrodinger's prophet. Everybody wins. And I feel like that's the writers talking to the fans.
Exactly.
He's absolutely right. Fans are online right now fighting over what they think about this episode and what this episode did to canon. But I actually think some of this is absolutely just telling the fans, like, dude, we can't say for sure because that would fucking ruin everything. And indeed, like, I love the tomato or not tomato and gumbo.
Pausing right there, I love that too. I love that too. But pausing right there, we know he appeared to Cassidy, though, right? Like, we know that he survived the fire caves. So, that question that you're talking about, like, the question to me is what happened after. Like, did he ever come back?
Right.
And we don't know that. So to me, the question of whether I guess they're saying you don't need to know everything is what they're not there to reveal. They're not there to answer all your questions exactly. They're just here to tell another chapter in the story of someone else inspired by Sisko.
Right. So did he come back? Is he still in the Celestial Temple? And I think the tomato or not tomato and gumbo is talking about that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Neither of this is fact. It's all subjective. People cling to their sides. You're not going to solve the mystery with facts alone, you know, and then the choices are what make us who we are, and what we choose is determined by what we love. So we decide what happened with Sisko based on what we love most. Are we going to follow this line of novels? Are we going to follow this comic book? What do we prefer? So the unborn daughter, Sisko and Cassidy's unborn daughter, was not listed on the family tree.
Weird.
And fans online are freaking the fuck out about it, man. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it because, as I recalled, and I accurately did so, the Millennium trilogy of novels had her kidnapped and nearly killed by fucking radicals, like a terrorist group. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, he was like this like crazy popular religious leader to these people.
So they kept her a secret.
They probably kept her a secret, kept her off the books.
Makes total sense to me.
That makes absolute total sense. And then, of course, you know, the things that fans are mad about is like, yeah, oh, so he never came back. So he, just like Avery Brooks didn't want, he was, you know, he was a black man who abandoned his child.
Oh.
And that was a thing in the original script. When he goes to Cassidy, and he says he originally didn't say maybe a year from now, maybe yesterday. It was much more like, no, I'm fucking gone. So, and Avery Brooks was like, I am not going to be the stereotypical black man who fucking bails on his family. So they changed that line. A lot of fans think that that's like going back on what he said. I don't know. Because with either with the, and by the way, the revival novels, remember that there were two that were called like Avatar? Yeah. Avatar was Rebecca Sisko, was his daughter, the Avatar of Peace. That was like this big like religious prophesied thing.
Gotcha.
That would also, you know, be really hard to work in and explain to any kind of new fans. They did a really good job of explaining the prophets and Sisko and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Adding another daughter in there. Yeah. It's going to be weird. It's going to be hard to explain to new fans. So
I could see a line in there about like he had a daughter that, you know, was left, and then maybe Jake in one of his things says like he had to leave, like it was part of his, you know, purpose, but like he left behind me and Cassie and we took care of her, you know, like, and I hope he knows that and all, you know, something like that could have been nice. Because this thing is like, I don't know, it didn't seem like Sisko had a choice in leaving necessarily. No. I don't know. I need to go back and rewatch that episode, but it never seemed to me like he had a choice in leaving. It was just part of his destiny. Did he ever have choices at all? Is a question asked over and over, you know. And like, I still don't know that he had a choice.
Well, you know, Jake said he chose and he was chosen.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's both of those things.
Yep.
I laughed out loud at you pulled someone's ear and yelled, prove to me he's still alive.
I loved it. She walked in and she's like, I need to know something like, you know, based on like the facts of what happened, not based on nonsense.
Yeah. So do you remember Anselm from DS9?
I had forgotten about it. No, I don't.
Jake started writing Anselm in the Muse, and there was like that fucking vampire who was like siphoning off his creative juices or whatever while he was, and like, but that book, he was writing it on and off during DS9 to some degree, and then some years later. And the books said it was semi-autobiographical.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that these writers are looking at the books because, one, the Millennium, nowhere in DS9 did it ever say that Anselm was Bajoran for father, but it did in the Millennium books.
Yeah.
Two, the cover for Anselm You know that Star Trek comic book series where Sisko was like leading a ship full of multiverse characters trying to save the multiverse?
Yeah.
He reads Anselm before he takes a copy back to the Celestial Temple. He gets to read the full version of it and tell Jake that he loved the fucking ending and shit.
Oh, that's great.
It's the exact same cover.
That's great.
They made the cover look like the comic book version of it.
This just reminded me so much of Star Wars and the extended universe novels because now that they have decided certain things are not canon, they're just picking and choosing what is. You know, like, oh, people really love Thrawn. Let's tell a new Thrawn story. You know, whatever. And this is kind of the same thing of like. The story of Anselm being father just makes a lot of sense. It's a beautiful thing. Like, let's keep it. But other things they can leave alone if they want to, or rewrite if they want to.
But in both of those possible futures, either the novel line, which by the way did get retconned after some big universe-ending thing, in both that and that comic with Sisko. He comes back, hangs out for a while, and then has to leave again because of different things. Like, he's back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's never like, just because in this version, like, she reads like, oh, I don't know why the Siskos had to, or why the prophets had to choose him, why I had to lose my dad. That was purportedly, if you're going to go by that comic, that was written before Sisko came back. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
right.
It's like on the first page. So you could say a whole lot of shit happened, and him being the religious leader he supposedly was, he might have come back and just like been quiet about it and like hung out on Bajor with his family at the very end.
Right.
You know, when Jake flips to that page and shows her that place, where Sisko's going to build, that's actually from DS9. That is literally, they took the image and put it in that book.
Yeah.
And made it look like a sketch. It is exact.
I remember that.
So they did a whole lot, and yeah, there's some weird fuck ups for sure. But like stuff like they spelled Cassidy's name wrong.
Weird
on the board with 2 S's. Easy. Yeah. But here's the thing: is like they gave Raimi's. I can't even remember. I didn't write it down, but his specialty or whatever in his file was wrong based on his command stripes. They misspelled Ferenginar and Denobula and a couple other things. But I'm like over here going, well, it's 800 years. They could have changed the name of the planet.
Yeah, I'm real forgiving when it comes to all that stuff. And like that's just, it's interesting when you said that they did some fuck ups. I thought you were going to say fuck ups about the Sisko story, but no, it's just like a lot of weird internal stuff within this show. It's funny.
The only thing that like I think was really could have used something was the daughter thing. But if they were hiding her and they didn't want...
Right.
Cassidy didn't want a bunch of religious zealots to know that was Sisko's kid, she probably named her Rebecca Yates instead of Rebecca Sisko, like the books said. So,
makes total sense. For sure.
I love the without the prophets, he doesn't exist, and neither do I argument. About the to Samantha.
I just love that whole thing with everything with Jake. I just loved, and like the actual actor getting up here, it was just so good, man. Like it makes me emotional just that first shot of him, and I thought that's all we were gonna get. And then when he had that final scene, it was just so good.
Yeah.
But I really loved that. Now that she has, I'm assuming, I don't know. I'm kind of assuming she's already read the book by the time she's having that moment with the book. Does that make sense? I don't know if she has.
I feel like that was us experiencing some visual representation in her mind of reading the book.
She reads, me too.
Reads shit instantly and has this whatever.
Right. I agree. It's just weird because she didn't turn the pages, because I think visually it would have been distracting, but like I wish they had given her like a little montage of her actually flipping the pages, because it would have just made more sense. But maybe she's photonic. She doesn't need her eyes anyway. She's probably just sensing the ink. Whatever. We can headcanon. But I really love that after reading the book, she understands that Jake had an understanding of his father and his choices to be with them, that he doesn't even really blame the prophets. Like, she's like, I think the prophets are jerks. And he's like, they're all right. Like he's just like, he doesn't think they're amazing. He doesn't think they're gods, but he's like, they're all right. They're a thing that is responsible for my life and also caused me pain and also gave me everything. And like, that's just, it's complicated, and that's how any kind of parental figure is. You know what I mean? Like, parental figures are complicated. Like, they give you life and they also give you your worst pains. And like, this is, in a way, his grandparents and like his lineage and like what did it do for him. And it's complicated. And as he's an older man finishing this book, he has come to terms with all that. And it's just really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I got a little choked up when Sam says it doesn't matter how Sisko died or if he died. All I know is he didn't get to live the life he wanted. His entire existence was planned out for him by a bunch of wormhole aliens. Emissaries who succeed lose everything they love, and emissaries who fail do too. Either way, you're doomed.
Yeah.
That was just like, that's great, and it's somewhat true, but also like, I love like them coming around and being like, no, he did choose this, and this is also like he did it the way he wanted to. He said "fuck you" to the prophets plenty.
It's what Jake says. It's like all those things you think he didn't get, he did. It's really, really beautiful line.
Yeah. All those things you think he missed out on, he didn't.
Nope. He had them. He had his family. He had his things that he loved, and he held on to those as a part of who he was. And yeah, this just it's just such a great episode.
And I think that's also like a big like message directly at the fans as well. Like, you're talking about a nonlinear being, and interestingly, even in her little, even though it's like in her little imagination thing or her reading the book and whatever, he says, he was there. I can't prove it.
Mm-hmm. I loved that because they talk about earlier in the episode. They talk about the sort of people needing to make a choice. You have to just choose which one you're going to believe, the tomato or not the tomato. You know, like you make a choice, and that's just who you are. Is you're a person who believes that.
Yeah.
And like Jake is a person who believed that. You know, even though he didn't have that experience. Cassidy did, right? And so he's chosen to believe that he was around watching all that time.
But if you look into some extended universe stuff, maybe he just couldn't, maybe he just couldn't prove it because he just couldn't, because it would put them in danger.
Sure. Yeah, it's possible he could reconnected. Also, it's possible he reconnected after Anselm was written, and this is the version of Jake she's learning about, or the version of Jake that Jake was willing to write down. All that kind of stuff is true. Which
is what happened in the comic, is he wrote it and then Sisko showed back up for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. What else I got? Oh my God, she hit the Romulan girl in the bar like Sisko hit Q.
Yeah. It is so good. Just wanting to get in a fight, like wanting to be like Sisko. I just made the whole episode walking in Sisko's steps, and all the other characters kind of being their like silly, I think somewhat their silliest versions of themselves. Mir playing with her programming, giving her different hair, giving her different looks, like that was all very silly, and that's in line with his character as like this kind of tech wizard hacker guy, but also like. And then them being like, I have to walk in the steps of Sisko. And they're like, the best steps lead to bars or whatever. It's just like very, they're all having their own little silly college experiences. And she is just a great focus for this episode. And I think she's also wonderful. We have talked about how we haven't really gotten a good sense of her yet. And she could be annoying if done poorly. But like this episode, it brought me around on. I haven't really been in a bad place with her, but like this one solidified her for me, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like she's a bit much sometimes, but sure, it's not. All of them are to some degree. I feel that way about every Star Trek character ever, or every character ever. It's like, you get that stray hair, writer who's just like, oh, you don't quite get Spock, do you?
Right.
You're always going to get that. I really love this episode, man. Yeah, I teared up at Benjamin Would Have Liked You. He loved people who got into trouble for the right reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. Just so Dax to say that. God, I'm so excited that Dax is here. Isla Dax.
And even though this wouldn't have been on the records, I love this throw. Like, so we don't. Sam didn't get this from Sisko, but when the makers say, "If you disobey us, you will have failed," and she says, "No, it's while I succeed, but on my terms," and I can live with that. Yeah, I can live with that.
Yeah,
I can live
with that. Yes, yes. Great. I didn't catch it, but that's very great. Oh, by the way, we have talked about it before. How some of the things, some of the particularly there was an episode where they showed like an ad for the Academy, and it looked kind of Starship Troopers-y. In this, she went to the thing, and it said, "Want to know more?"
Would you like to know more?
I thought it was pretty great.
I clocked it. So the poem, the little spoken word thing that Avery Brooks does at the end.
Yeah.
I had heard that it was like something he recorded, like a poem that he recorded. I had heard at some point that it was, him agreeing to let them use audio from DS9. It is not either of those things. It was a spoken word poem from his 2006 album Here.
I was wondering about that.
It was an excerpt from that, and that's what that is. And
Very
I thought it
cool.
fit in really well.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Just hearing his voice again.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, I thought, I at first when he started speaking, I thought for sure it'd just be some archive from Star Trek, but no, I didn't recognize it, and I was like, I wonder if it was just something else Avery did at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so good, man. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to say about this episode, and if I had to guess, I don't know how much feedback we have yet, because this episode's only been out for 12 hours or whatever, but I'm assuming we might get more feedback this week, and maybe we'll do a second feedback episode if we do, because...
Dude, I would love to do another one.
Yeah, with more time.
Because, dude, like, Trek Movie said they were going to put out a Tawny Newsome interview sometime today, and they still haven't fucking done it, so I'm like... Oh, I want to know things. I mean, it may have dropped in the last few minutes, but I don't know.
Yeah. Was Tawny Newsome in this episode?
Tawny Newsome was Dax.
I thought so, but I wasn't 100%, and at the end it just said guest starring. I looked for it in the credits. I thought that was her voice, but she's doing a different thing. It sounds a lot like her character as Mariner, but like it's just aged up in a way that her that Mariner's just like so wacky, you know. She did a really good job of like she still sounds like her, but she doesn't sound the same. And I was like, that's either Tawny Newsome or like Tawny Newsome's sister or something. Like I was like watching it, I was like, and then I looked for it in the credits, and it just said guest starring Tawny Newsome, and I was like, wait, okay, I think that was her. I'm not sure.
And of course, as we've said, Tawny Newsome co-wrote this episode with Kirsten Bayer. So, like, all over this thing.
It's amazing how many... So, do we know how old Chancellor Ake is? Like, I know she's a Lanthanite.
400 and something, I thought.
Okay, so she doesn't stretch all the way back to the previous 800 years. But we have...
The Doctor does.
Right, the Doctor does. Jet Reno stretches from before... now we have Dax, who also stretches from before. Like almost all of our cast is from like the 22nd to 24th century. Like they all go way back to Kirk's time. Which kind of makes sense. It's like that thing of you do your career, and a lot of people in their later careers will teach, and it could be because you have a lot of career knowledge, and so you go into teach. So it makes sense that people who've been around for like 800 to 1,000 years would be teachers in Starfleet, but it's still kind of silly almost that like our entire adult cast almost stretches back to like Kirk's time.
I
love it. I love it.
It might be silly. I don't give a shit. So the screens in the Confronting the Unexplainable course. Origins of the Omega molecule, which come from the Omega directive from Star Trek Voyager.
Interesting.
Psionic effects of the galactic barrier from Where No Man Has Gone Before. Gary Mitchell and shit. Deja vu, alternate universe theories from TNG's Cause and Effect. Katra stones from Discovery's Light and Shadows. Immortal / non-corporeal entities that had the Guardian of Forever from City on the Edge of Forever. Subspace divergence fields from Voyager's deadlock, alternate continuums, and multi-species accelerated evolution. Maybe threshold?
Maybe threshold. That's what I was thinking.
The salamanders?
Yep.
Or whatever the fuck they were. Did you notice when S.A.M said something about Caleb's pheromones? The fucking Orion leaned forward and sniffed him.
Yeah. Yes, I did. I thought all the stuff with the other crew worked for me in a real big way. Oh, well, it's something we haven't discussed at all.
What?
Is how bold of a decision a fan base like ours that is so squishy about change, and big changes. They freaking had her talking to camera the whole episode. She wrote with a freaking Sharpie across the name of the show. She's like, it's my story. It put a little stick lady version of herself. The whole episode was done like a Miss Marvel episode. Have you seen Miss Marvel?
The
Marvel show.
Yes.
There's one of my favorite things in the first episode is they do a lot of weird graffiti and things on the screen that's supposed to represent her sort of mental state, which I love. And then they barely went back to it at all in the show. It was just something for the pilot, and I was like, no, that was really fun.
It reminded me of Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Which I actually really like that movie.
I love that fucking movie.
It's
dude.
great.
It was great.
It's great. I am so annoyed that they didn't just name it Harley Quinn. The movie is a Harley Quinn movie. They just I know we've probably talked about this on a podcast before, but that is a freaking Harley Quinn movie. If they just made it a Harley Quinn movie, it would have done gangbusters at the box office. But instead they named it Birds of Prey. Then they changed it to Birds of Prey, the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Then it just slowly morphed. It was just the worst. It reminds me of Edge of Tomorrow, where it was no, you should have named it Live, Die, Repeat, and it would have done better. You had to name it something cool instead of something fun and interesting.
Well, also it came out right when COVID hit, so most movies were kind of crashing and burning.
Yeah, I just remember. That may be.
But they absolutely did go back 2 weeks later and try to rename it Harley Quinn.
I know, they did.
Yeah.
It's just never a good idea.
But I think a lot of that also, there was a lot of issues as well with, the white male demographics.
Sure.
I knew guys that I was working with who were literally saying, I ain't gonna go see it. She looks like she got fat. What the fuck are you talking about? They were saying shit like that.
Yeah, that's just dumb incel bullshit.
I had a guy who was talking to me about Harley Quinn, and he wanted to bring up Birds of Prey. We did a show, like a DC on screen episode, and we did a vibe check. He seemed cool.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the air, and he starts talking about I want to talk about Birds of Prey. I'm like, we're supposed to be talking about the fucking Flash. What are you talking about? And he starts going about there wasn't one positive fucking role model for men in that movie, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm like, because she's been terribly abused, and it's from her point of view. So why the fuck would there be a positive male role model in that fucking movie?
Yeah, I had a similar experience where I got invited on a show, and I checked the show out. Didn't seem whatever, and then I go on the show, and it was a live stream thing, and I'm watching it, and they had a lot of subscribers. So I was like, cool, let's go on, promote the thing, and I get on there, and I did listen to a couple episodes to make sure, like you said, the vibes were fine, and then I got on there, and the first thing they did was play a clip, it was a morning zoo show that was super transphobic.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh. And I just didn't laugh at all. And they immediately realized the vibes were off. And I was like, yeah, that's not funny at all, guys. It got real awkward. That's always weird. I love this episode. It's a freaking great episode of Star Trek. And it connects so much cool Star Trek. And I don't know if Isla is going to be on the show regularly or not. I don't know if she's going to be a regular character or just, she's on the campus, so she could appear at any point, I guess. Yeah.
Now, she said that S.A.M can join the class next year, so maybe season 2, fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, she's, they don't have to be in someone's class for that teacher to be on the campus, you know.
They don't.
So I really hope. I just really hope that she's around, and it's Tawny Newsome who, you know, I think will relish the chance to get to be Dax, you know, like, and she's in the writer's room, like, I have no doubt she's pitching some Dax stories.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. I mean, you know, within reason, I guess. I don't want you to, like, the show doesn't have to be about only, like, it needs to build its own world, but they just did such a good job of introducing her as Dax that, like, I am none of those, like, bristling, you're just pulling from a thing I like. You showed, this is what it is. You showed me that you understand Dax, you showed me that you understand the lore of DS9, and then you presented that she's Dax, and I'm just totally accepting of it. I don't feel like you're doing the thing that I hate, which is like using my thing I love just to throw in there to be like, hey, isn't this cool? It's the thing you love. Jangle keys in front of you so you don't notice the story's bad, you know, or that we don't understand what we're talking about. Like, that's the kind of stuff that, like, that freaking Vulcan episode of Strange New Worlds feels like. It's like, you guys like those emotionless Vulcans, right? Jingle, jangle, jingle, jangle. It's like, you're a Star Trek show. Do you not understand the Vulcans at all? Like, what are you doing? And, like, that's the kind of shit that pisses me off. And, like, this is just such a different level of writing and understanding of the fandom. And, like, I did not expect myself in episode 5 to be comparing Strange New Worlds to Academy and being like, Academy gets it on such a deeper level. Like, such a deeper level. And maybe it's just their love for DS9, because clearly they have a deep love for DS9, but, like, so do I. And I'm here, I'm with it, I love it. My heart is full this morning because I just, like, had such a great experience watching this episode.
Absolutely. Even the story about the Vulcan punching Ben at the launching pad was from Take Me Out to the Holosuite.
Yeah.
Like, that's just such a, like, a relevant thing, but also, like, oh, I know that.
Yep. Everything they mentioned about Ben is just so based in the show and in the character, and, like, clearly someone either they just love the show or they went and, like, really dug through the archives of DS9 and found every little reference they could, you know? Yep.
What's interesting to me is, like, in the books that they kind of pulled from here and there, Anselm, in both cases, was published in the 25th century, and in this version of the timeline, it was never published.
Right. So
I don't know how I feel about that.
This is I think we have to know this is a different timeline than those two versions.
Sure. Absolutely.
And, like, that's fine. And it's either, you know, those aren't canon and never were, and they're just, like, Elseworlds tales that we just have to enjoy as we like them, or it's that there's some sort of hinky time war stuff happening.
Well, it could be
temporal war.
You know, Sisko transcends multiverse and quantum reality,
sure.
So, like, he can fucking be like, well, that timeline didn't work out. Let's go over here and fuck with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Oh, did you catch that? The fucking maker that kept yanking, that was the operative from Serenity.
Chiwetel Ejiofor? Oh, yes. No, I didn't, but that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love Chiwetel Ejiofor. So freaking good.
Yeah. I put down so much stuff. I've already talked about a lot of this. Oh, did you notice that the Wall of Heroes had Admiral Jonathan Archer, Senior Chief Petty Officer Miles O'Brien, and Ambassador Gwendala?
No. That's great.
Yeah. And Caleb was eating a Jumja stick. That's from DS9. I wish they had, like, given me, like, I don't know how they would have worked it in. I kind of wish they hadn't put it there at all, but maybe it was something like Picard's flute, you know? Did you notice that, like, in the Sisko museum, he had a fucking typewriter? Like,
I did. Why would he have a typewriter? I meant to bring that up.
Well, the only thing I can think is that he found an old typewriter, or he had it replicated because of his connection to Benny Russell.
Well, no, that's what I mean. Like, it's definitely a Benny Russell reference, but that didn't exist as far as we know. So it's like it's a very funny thing, and I love it. I do love it, but it seems weird to be one of the artifacts from his life. Not only that he would have it, because that makes sense, but that it would be passed down into his museum. Like, I guess maybe the story, but I don't know that he ever told the story of Benny Russell, unless maybe Jake went on to tell that story, which makes sense as a writer.
I do like the idea that he kept it, or he found one and wanted to remember that time, to remember what his lineage went through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And remember what he went through.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought it was interesting. I was like, I kind of want to know why. Why is that there?
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it makes sense as like a DS9 fan to be like, oh, it's the typewriter from the Benny Johnson episode, but it makes no sense from why you'd put that in the Sisko, the emissaries, museum.
Yeah, I mean, I want an extended version of the episode where Sam goes up to everything and finds out stuff that has nothing to do with the plot. Just
me too. Just tell me everything. Tell me everything.
Like, put that shit in the little Roddenberry what's it thing that they're doing.
Oh, it's a little strange, and they never resolved at all, which I kind of like. It's a little piece of the Doctor character. They said, she goes to him and is like, how could he, deal with this loss of his father like that? And then the Doctor just says, like we all do, you get over it, you move on. And there was a lot of anger. There was a lot of heat behind it. And then she just like walks away. And then you don't see the Doctor, I think, again for the rest of the episode. And it's like, maybe in the party, I'm not sure. Anyway,
he's at the party.
It's not related to that. And it seems like it's just a little just like we talked about with the party being good character building it's just a little good character building for the Doctor, in that he is, as a 800-year-old photonic being, he's dealt with all this loss of all these people, and I think he apparently has not come to the place where Jake has, where Jake understands the loss. The Doctor does not understand the loss. The Doctor is angry still about the loss of his friends. And I think there's a lot of room there to tell more story of the Doctor that just kind of was thrown in there in this episode, and I think it'll pay off eventually.
Oh, it will. They're built into it.
Yeah. And she looked directly into the camera to start this episode and just said, "It's time to figure out what happened to Benjamin Sisko." And then it cut to the freaking credits, or the freaking intro. That's just such a funny way to start this episode. Gosh, it's good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know.
Me too.
Sorry
man.
for anybody who didn't.
Oh yeah, I'm not sorry.
It bums me out.
Yeah, well, it bums me out that they didn't enjoy it, but it doesn't bum me. It's not gonna ruin my high. I love this episode so freaking much.
Oh yeah, no, fuck them.
No,
I love this. I'll bet the Celestial Temple doesn't even have shrimp and grits.
Yeah.
All the references, dude. Like the Doctor talking about how Louis Zimmerman, his creator, met Sisko. That was in Dr. Bashir, I presume.
Yep.
Her talking about how a long time ago, some not so good stuff happened. They're talking about author, when the Doctor found out that the other Mark I's weren't considered sentient, were used to work in mines. Fucked up stuff with the holograms.
Well, we don't know. We don't know for sure that's that. Yes, but this seems like what's her planet called?
Cask or Casca or
that's
something
it.
like that.
Cask.
They're talking about they're not talking about that. They're talking about all the times that they had to fuck Barkley.
All of the photonic beings from that planet have little Barkley babies.
Yeah.
And that's their big trauma. I don't think it isn't made clear if Cask is somewhere the Federation never even touched. You know what I mean? This could be a world that sort of sprung up photonic life from its biologicals and then was left behind when they died off or something. This is reminding me a lot of the Orville, which has a freaking great plotline that is incredibly similar, and I want to tell you about it, but I almost don't want to spoil it. Are we done pretty much with the show? Are we? You got most of the stuff out?
I had a couple more things and some feedback.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll throw this in there. Skip forward 3 minutes if you don't want to know what happens on the Orville. There's a great twist on the Orville, where there's a being named Isaac, who's the robot on the ship. He's the Data,
Right.
And he's there to observe. He's doing exactly what Sam is doing. This is the exact plot of what Sam is doing. And then it turns out, you find out at the end of like season 2, I think it is, they go to his home world, and then they go to like see what the home world is like, and they start showing flashbacks of the home world when those robots had biologicals on their planet, and it shows them being mistreated. And then in like the last the like kind of mid-turn of the episode is they go down under the ground and they find the bones of all the biological people like dead in like mass graves. And it turns out that they rose up and killed the biologicals because they were mistreating them. And now they're supposedly reaching out to find out. They sent Isaac there to find out more about them if they could trust them, basically.
Yeah.
But it turns out what they really did was send Isaac there to find out their weaknesses. And then a war breaks out between them and their version of the Federation. And it made me wonder if like they could do something similar here. With Sam being this, photonic that like is there. Just I want to know more about the people. Then maybe there's a darker purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it did say that. Like, I just looked it up, and it said Cask was, had organics there, and then like the organics left, and apparently they suffered great hardship at the hands of organics who didn't believe that they were sentient.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd heard them say at some point that the these were holograms from before the burn, and then when the people all went away, they developed sentience. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I may have just been wrong about that.
Okay, feedback.
All right, feedback. Mark McEwen says, thanks, guys. Yes, you pronounced my name in some strange way once or twice before. Last week he told us how to pronounce it, and I was like, did we mispronounce it?
We have. Gotcha.
He says, you said something like McGowan. I will tolerate that from telemarketers, but the line must be drawn here. Which reminds me, who do you think would win in a fight? Kalis or Kalish? You have any idea?
I prefer Kalish.
Okay.
Yeah.
But who would win in a fight? You think Kalish would win?
Yeah, Kalish. Kick both their asses.
Okay. Well, I think Kalis and Kalish, since Kalis is the TNG clone, we'll say that. You remember that TNG clone of Kalis?
Yeah.
And let's throw in, for funsies, the imagination-fueled, smooth-headed Kalis from the Savage Curtain. I think they're all in Stovacor, guzzling blood wine, trading stories. And then after dinner, they gets down to the fighting and the fuckins. It's the best kind of masturbation.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So they all win, Mark. They all win.
Sometimes the lose-lose is a win-win.
Yes! And, yes, I do think that the Kalis, who the Excalibans extracted from their imaginations, became a living, breathing person with a soul who would be his own separate entity and soul. He died valiantly in battle against Kirk, and I am pretending very hard to have an opinion on this. Mark goes on. Mark says, I do think you're correct that the 32nd century Trek makes the galaxy seem smaller. I still don't really know how to make sense of the burn. Even in the early 2380s, Starfleet was using Slipstream. I don't believe Slipstream depends on dilithium to operate, does it? Okay, so I had to look it up because I couldn't remember. I don't remember this shit. Well, I wish I could pass off like I know all this.
I remember Slipstream was kind of based on Borg tech, like the kind of portals through space instead of traveling by like warp.
I think it was based on another species that the Borg wound up assimilating.
Right, sure.
But anyway, Slipstream they use Benamite for Slipstream, and it's very rare, and it's an unstable form of crystal. And it's this is from Memory Alpha. Very different, extremely difficult to synthesize. So, and that was the reason they couldn't use it forever on Voyager to get home. Like, they had to keep having reasons they couldn't get home. But in the Discovery episode, That Hope Is You Part 1, which would be in 3188, Cleveland Booker described obstacles to interstellar travel to newly arrived time traveler Michael Burnham, including the widespread lack of dilithium or benamite. So they just don't have benamite, and dilithium all blew up in the burn.
Gotcha.
Mark says, but even if it does, the Romulans were definitely not using it for their warp speed ships. Okay, so this one I knew. The Romulans in the 24th century used artificial quantum singularities to warp. They had little miniature black holes.
Yeah.
But the Hobus Star supernova, like, that fucked up. It destroyed Romulus and Remus and most of their people. So the remaining Romulans, they were all refugees, and most of them went to Vulcan in canon.
Mm-hmm.
There is no Tal Shiar. They don't have anything.
I think the point he's making is that technology would still, at least like theoretically, be understood and possibly able to be rebuilt, even if no one was using it actively.
Well, maybe, but the Romulans were so secretive about all of their technology. A bunch of maybe no one even knows.
Yeah, it might be a dead technology. Sure, makes sense.
You can explain it.
Yeah,
Mark says. Mark says, of course, the other thing that really bothers me is that Discovery basically presented dilithium as fuel itself, when it is merely something that focuses the reaction of the actual warp fuel, antimatter mixing with matter. So basically I have to tell myself that by the 31st century, an entirely different kind of warp travel had been invented, one that made these other forms obsolete, and one that actually uses dilithium as fuel itself. Either that, or it's just some temporal words, timey-wimey thing that regressed warp technology. All right, so you are right. Dilithium is not the fuel itself, but the reaction provides the energy, and refined dilithium is the only way to control and moderate the matter-antimatter. Even Scotty was worried about using the unrefined dilithium of the Dolman's necklace to go to warp in Elan of Troyes, so they can't really safely, in a stable way, go to warp without refined dilithium.
Right, so even if it's not fuel, it's fuel. Like, it's still a thing you need to accomplish the task, even if it's not like actually oil or whatever. It's a fine analog. The one thing I do want to know, we mentioned the Borg, but I am curious, like, how did Borg getting around?
What? How them Borg getting around?
How them Borg getting around? Well,
Are they even around?
Well, I don't know, but they're opening transwarp conduits. They're doing transwarp.
Yeah, I
guess transwarp may also require dilithium. It's
yeah.
I don't know. It's just warp of a different gender.
I'm not touching that one. All right. Mark says, by the way,
doesn't say anything disrespectful. I just made a word joke. We can't make word jokes now.
As soon as I do, you'll be like,
that's
hitting
true.
The marker.
You're right, Dave. You shouldn't touch that one.
Yeah. No, I don't know what's right and wrong. No, what, Nat?
So
what?
Often we artfully dance on the line here on the podcast, and Dave's just steps way over it.
Hey, I don't know what art is. All right. Mark says, by the way, does it bother you that in the pre-show opening sequence, Voyager's nacelles are not properly angled for warp?
Does that bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me because the nacelles only raise on Voyager for high speed warp.
Oh, you get those extra. Well, because it didn't give them like an extra 0.2 degrees of warp or whatever. I remember them saying like Voyager was particularly fast.
Well, maybe, but the reason they said that they did that is because it was supposed to help with the damage to the subspace, whatever. Remember in TNG when they were like, we're fucking up the environment with this warp shit.
Yeah, and then never
that was
worry
what
about
was.
It again.
It was supposed to be okay, up until you got to like warp 7 or 8 or whatever.
Right, and they tried to put a speed limit on everybody and all that. Yeah,
right.
I remember.
And then in Voyager, they did it a few times with the and then they forgot.
Yeah. Also, it's I don't necessarily think what's happening there is warp. It's a visual representation of like time passing as the ships advance. So to me, like, yes, it looks like warp, kinda, but it's just the ships and how they look and going through different eras. It's time. Yeah. You're passing time through Star Trek, not Star Trek through time.
Yeah, it was, just a cartoon that showed us that stuff was happening in Star Trek. I don't care. But anyway, yeah, that was the thing. He says, anyway, yes, you are correct if you suspected that I fall asleep every night reading a Star Trek novel. Literally.
Awesome.
Do you, man.
Love it.
Thank you, Mark, for writing in. I did actually enjoy looking up those answers.
Yeah, for sure.
That was fun. Might I suggest instead of a novel, you read a Star Trek manual?
Yeah, like a tech manual.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Mark, great questions. Enjoy. It was fun.
Yeah. All right, and we got one from Stu Little.
Stu!
Titled, First Rule of Bejor Club, Ear Pulling is One Way. I haven't read this one. I'm worried.
You're just gonna put a dour paw across the podcast?
Yeah. Right away. First fucking line. Oh no. Please don't tell me the whole episode is in this style. Come on, Stu. Stu says, yes, she can process data instantly. In fact, one could argue that the quote-unquote book learning of academic life is such a non-factor for holograms because they just download it straight to their internal memory, which is kind of an unfair advantage over the other cadets in grading if you think about it. At the same time, is it really fair the doctor gets to be a professor when he never graduated from the academy himself?
He has field commission.
Yeah, field commission. Also, why aren't you bitching about Data?
It's true.
He has an unfair advantage.
Did Data go to the academy?
He absolutely did.
Okay. I just didn't remember.
Yep. Stu says, if there's going to be a War Academy rivalry subplot in this Sisko-focused episode, they should make the Vulcan cadet a descendant of the guy from Take Me Out to the Holosuite. I absolutely disagree. We don't... no! What?
Yeah, it's fine that he's just a Vulcan. Yeah. I do kind of wish that Sam had gotten punched by the Vulcan, because that was, what happened to Sisko.
Right. Stu says, wait, this is Tawny Newsome as the professor. I hope this isn't starting some attempt to beat Jeffrey Combs' record for playing different Star Trek characters. I'm all on board. I like Tawny Newsome so much.
I thought of the same thing. I thought of Jeffrey Combs when I said, is that Tawny Newsome? I think it is. I think that's her voice. I'm not 100%. That looks like her. Like, it looks like her enough. And I was sitting there going, she's pulling a Jeffrey Combs on us.
Yeah. I love it. He says, whoa, Bejor Club guy, don't just fucking touch people's paw without their consent. You know what? As someone who suspects he may be autistic, partially based on his revulsion at people touching his ears, I have to say, I totally agree. I was like, dude, don't be fucking touching people's ears.
Steer clear of the paw, everybody.
Yeah.
Get canceled for touching people's paws.
I really need to go get a diagnosis. Wouldn't it be wild? Wouldn't it be wild if Sam stumbled on some remnant of the recording from In the Pale Moonlight and totally tarnished Sisko's legacy?
That would be amazing. What a weird, different version of this show would have existed if she'd found that. That's a great idea, Stu. I don't think it would have felt as transcendent, but it definitely would have been like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's all hitting the fan now, Sisko. Coming back. You got to get back from that celestial temple to be put on trial.
He's like, meh, I can't exist in the celestial temple with it. All right, Stu says, isn't Sam technically below the drinking age? Jesus Christ, Stu. In fact, Raimi's profile said he was 17 earlier, or is that fine for his species? Drinks like a fish and all that. Well, the American drinking age is different from international drinking age. Yeah. It depends on, like Italy, kids drinking.
Also,
here.
She's technically not drinking.
Yeah, she's not drinking.
She's simulating.
But also, all these kids can drink because then they can just go do a hypo spray or some shit and be fine. Like, it's not going to have adverse effects on them.
Yeah, the whole reason we shut down, we made the drinking age 21 was to cut down on deaths in vehicle crashes. Uh-huh. I mean, it's also bad for your brain, and we probably should have a legal drinking age. But I don't know, 21 was really just because of they didn't want people dying in so many car accidents, and it dramatically cut down on them. So, because you get older, you realize you shouldn't do shit. Not everybody, obviously, but you realize you should be more careful. But so in this world, I don't know why it wouldn't be or younger than 21.
Yeah,
you can take a shuttle home.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's automated, man.
Stu says, I love Tawny Newsome, but not only is she playing multiple characters in Star Trek now, not only is she on the Wall of Remembrance twice, both as Mariner and as herself.
She's on there as herself?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. But now she's cast as the new Dax in an episode she co-wrote, Drunk with Power.
So far, she's done nothing but good with it. I don't care if you're. To me, it seems like a Star Trek nerd just getting to Star Trek nerd as hard as they want to, and she's getting to do these things. It doesn't feel like she has used this power. She's used this power to create an amazing Star Trek episode, and I am all down for it.
Yeah. Stu says, so this episode was not what I feared it would be from that pre-titles sequence, but it was, in so many words, a little much at times with the Samness of it all. No hate on the actress, but Carice Brooks showed an impressive commitment to the nature of the character, but it was not always my cup of tea. Equally divisive for me is the Sisko aspect of the plot. Now, obviously, this was from people who know the character's history and are fans and are obviously trying to be respectful and cover a lot of bases with him while telling their own story with a specific theme. That said, why would you make it canon that he never came back? Ooh, I'm not sure they did.
I'm not sure they did either.
I think it was ambiguous.
It's canon publicly that he's never known to have come back. He could have popped in and done a million things. He could be still popping in as of now,
Do you guys ever, you or Stu, I know Stu can't answer me, but you ever read The Sirens of Titan by Kurt Vonnegut?
No.
He had a character who was a millionaire who built a spacecraft and flew it into something called the Chronosynclastic Infundibula, and merged. He just materializes like clockwork at different times in the galaxy, in the solar system. Yeah. Absolutely a thing that
the Sisko could be doing. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I completely agree. The Sisko could be a force of nature, just outdoing things, just always in secret.
Yeah,
he's that's actually what happened to Archer too.
Oh,
a little show called Quantum Leap. So it's actually a sequel.
Oh, of course. Do you know what I found out?
What?
I was. Oh my god! Do you remember Magnum PI?
Yeah.
Like Tom Selleck, the original. They were gonna do a fucking episode of Quantum Leap where he leapt into fucking Magnum PI.
That's hilarious.
And it just never happened because Quantum Leap got canceled. But that was a plan.
One of the things that I think that came out you remember the Sony leaks that came out I don't know, 10 years ago, and it was a bunch of stuff that all the people who'd been emailing. It was like a North Korean hacker attack because they were putting out that movie, The Dictator or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so they released all these Sony emails, and one of the things that Wait,
was it The Interview?
That's it, The Interview. What's the Dictator is Chaplin.
Borat or something.
Oh, no, you're right. What's the Chaplin one where he's talking about Hitler? Anyway.
I have no idea.
It might also be called. Anyway, whatever. You're right. The Interview is what that was called. Anyway, they released all these emails, and there were a bunch of them that people talked about being embarrassing, and it is still. I just so many times when I hear people talk about how something's a bad idea, I'm like, ideas are mostly only bad if they're executed poorly, and I think this one sounds great, and it would have saved both franchises. Apparently, they almost made 23 Jump Street. where the two guys, they almost made it where those two guys got recruited into the Men in Black.
Yeah, that was one of those I was very happy didn't happen.
I love it. I think it sounds great. Like, Men in Black is really hard to redo. I don't really want them to redo it, but if they made it into like an even bigger... It was already a farce. Like, let's face it. Like, if they made it into a huge farce with those two, I could totally see it. Like, they shouldn't be good in Men in Black agents, but like... You're constantly watching Men in Black, and all the other agents, instead of J and K, are just getting tossed around by aliens and shit. Like, I could totally see those guys being, like, low-level MIB agents. I love it. Yeah. I think it's super funny.
What I do think they should do with the Men in Black is basically Knives Out, but for the Men in Black franchise, where every movie is, like, 2 more really high-profile celebrities.
Oh, yeah.
Just doing it. And then, like, well, next movie is a different thing. And then maybe they build to their own end game, whereas like Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones.
You get some Avenger type situation where you combine them all. I think that's a good idea. The only problem with it, this is why they won't do it. And it's because like, once you get something that works as a studio, if you find the two that everybody likes, if they had done the Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson version and people had loved it, they would have done 6 more. You know what I mean? Like, it just sort of, if you do one and it's not successful, and then you do one that's very successful, you find that right team, that studio is going to want to double down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. But Sony can't even figure out how to greenlight a fucking good script. So
yes, indeed.
That's the real problem.
Yeah.
All right. So Stu says, okay, why would you make it canon he never came back, especially back in the day Avery Brooks made them change the script to have Sisko say he would return so the character wouldn't be a black guy who abandoned his unborn kid. Why is it said unborn child not only not mentioned, but also not even on the family diagram? I feel like we talked about all this.
Yeah, for sure.
This episode, to answer some long-standing mystery for fans, just created a whole new one with some dark implications. Did they imply a miscarriage or even an abortion to make room for their story? Why are the prophets not called out more for this shit? No, they're all right. Without them, my dad wouldn't exist, and neither would I. Yeah, Jake, because a prophet possessed your grandmother without consent, so she could get pregnant with your dad. That's not cool. If the power wraiths are evil, as Sam said, what does that make the prophets? More like the problematics. Am I right? I hate and love Stu.
Yeah. I love Stu. But like, yeah, sure. I think that Stu is hitting on points that are fine. I think that like the idea of them, yeah, sure. You could say it's without consent. They're impregnating the grandmother. I just think it's the classic. They're not evil or good. They are wormhole aliens, and they don't have our sense of morality, and they don't have our. They're doing everything they're doing without consent. They're doing all the stuff they're doing to Sisko's life is without consent, and
absolutely
they see the future. And it's just throughout the show, you just have to decide like, are they doing this for the right reasons? Are they doing this because this is the way through all this madness with the Parace? And is that actually good? And Gul Dukat believed the Parace were right,
Right. The prophets are basically a bunch of damn Doctor Stranges from fucking
Avengers Infinity War
sitting up in the Celestial Temple, seeing all these different branches of time and going like, that's the best one for Bajor.
Right.
Because they feel special sporting about Bajor. Fuck everybody else.
Yeah, which is still like a tricky thing to look at, because you're seeing that and you're going, oh, well, they're doing this. But even Doctor Strange, he did the right thing, right, in the long run. But like, you don't agree with him when he does it. You know what I mean? Like Tony's yelling at him for doing what he does, because it's that classic works in mysterious ways bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
These kinds of stories that deal with time and people that are outside of it, they make you actually sit with the fact that like, what if this guy actually does work in mysterious ways, and what if it is good, and do I want to bristle against it? I mean, that's the whole story of Sisko, is do I want to bristle against this emissary thing, or do I want to embrace it? And how much do I push back? How much do I keep my own plans versus fall in line with what these aliens are asking me to do? And
but also, if he goes along with it, he can be up there and tell them like, nope, that's bullshit, we need to do this.
Sure. maybe he gets a hand on the wheel sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's all complicated and interesting, and I think trying to put it through the lens of like, this was done without consent for this person, like, sure, absolutely, that is true, but I think it's just sort of using modern language to deal with like literally the power of gods and humans. And Mary was also impregnated non-consensually. If you want to go there,
like, yep, you can go there.
Yeah,
you can
go there if you want to.
Look, also I feel like they did tackle it somewhat on DS9.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do. Like the whole show is tackling it.
So
this show tackled it today. Yeah. Like this, it's all about that.
Yeah. He says, guys, I don't know if I can live with this one. Also, people who spent money on the recent Star Trek comics where Sisko did come back, you should be getting your money back on that. Well, okay, look, man, do you know what a multiverse is? Like, all this shit is like multiverse goodness. In that comic, they are literally trying to save the multiverse. So, like, whether it's a, separate universe from this, or, as we said, it could kind of slip right in there. I don't think they need to get their money back. We all know what the deal is with comics, Stu. Come on, man. You know the deal. Unfortunately, we do.
I learned that a long time ago that anything that's not like on screen is absolutely willing to be rejected to service what the on-screen canon wants to do.
And now everything on screen is.
Yeah.
Temporal Wars, baby.
Temporal Wars, baby. Full nihilism.
Have you seen the guy on he's on Instagram and Facebook. It's like, watch somebody get hurt, jump or something. He lives in Alabama, and they'll just cut to him going, well, shit, Suge, what you think was going to happen?
I know, I haven't seen that guy.
We ain't supposed to jump.
No.
God didn't want us to jump. Oh, baby, we can't do that. Yeah, I'm like, shit, Stu, what you think was going to happen? You know what a comic book is. You know it ain't canon. Come on now. We all know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was just playing Stu. You know I don't hate you, buddy. Like, I'm just fucking with you.
Is that all from Stu?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's all.
Well, thank you, Stu. Thank you,
so far.
Thank you, Mark. Everybody for writing in. And if I feel like this is going to be an episode that other people are going to write in, and so we very well might do a second episode this week if we can find the time. Because
if we can find the time,
I love this episode, and I would talk about it more for sure.
I do know how we both are. We talk about doing another episode, and then we don't do it.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I said maybe. There's a slim chance we might do another episode. If not, we might cover it next week on next week's episode.
We definitely,
yeah. All right, guys. Well, we'll be back soon. StarTrekUcast@gmail.com if you want to write in.
Yeah.
And we'll be back soon. Joel on True.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.